Yes, that, of course, the clock wasn't in the original, but otherwise I think it's quite good. That. Well, Ivor Newton and I have worked together for many, many years now. He goes right into a thing thoroughly, and yet he does it so nicely and pleasantly. It's like a frightfully good dentist, you know, who, although you know jolly well he's going to hurt you, and he will tell you as much. But when it comes to it, you're not sure whether he did or not, you know, and so it is with Ivor. Everything sails through beautifully.
Well, he instinctively feels the music. He doesn't have to study it or work it over to any great extent. He feels, looks at the music and knows practically immediately every possibility about it. And he expects his accompanist, his collaborator at the piano, to know the work equally well. He's not addicted to constant rehearsing because he feels that that interferes with the spontaneity of the performance. I don't think there's much to say about this one. It's just a case of starting very softly and gradually coming up until we get the final climax in A major, you see, then we really hit it. And then at the end, just go off as we came in. What's the story behind it?
Oh, the story behind it is a very amusing story, a very attractive story. It's one of these very old 16th or 17th century times when they had the curfew in the cities of England, and the watchman walks round with his lantern on the end of a pole, you know, just to see that everything's all right, everything locked up.
What time of night would this be?
Oh, midnight.
I must remember that.
You must remember that.
The exact time, summertime or winter.
It's your best time, isn't it? And then well, he goes to the different places and makes sure that everything's safe. And then he says, all's well, you know, and then shouts out the time, and off we go. And just at the end of it, you hear the suggestion in the notes that I play, those two little pips, of the last few candles being blown out, you see. That's all it is. It's quite a music story.
course, Léon has done for the oboe what Lionel Curtis has done for the viola. He has made the instrument popular. And being a splendid teacher, he's had a whole group of brilliant pupils who play, shall I say, with almost the same tone. Not exactly, because Léon's tone is a very personal one. It's more like the oboe d'amore than the rather acid tone that you associate with the French oboist. But of course, it's his splendid phrasing, breath control, and musicianship that sets him apart.
One of our concerts in Dublin, I took him up to meet the great John McCormack. I say he was a great singer and a great Irishman. And when I introduced him to Léon, he said, "I've heard a lot about you. You're the man that never breathes when you play." He said, "They say the same about me, that I never breathe when I sing." He said, "I bet you're exactly like me, breathing all over the place, but taking darn good care that nobody sees it or hears it."
How greatly he is regarded by his fellow players came home to me when we went in a group, the first musicians to go to Russia in 1956, and he played concertos in Moscow and Leningrad and Kharkov. And when he was playing in Leningrad, he was being broadcast and televised, and the next morning, two Russian oboists arrived from Tallinn in Estonia, which is 200 miles away, because they couldn't believe it possible that man could produce that tone. And Léon very kindly showed them his instrument, played to them, and gave them reeds, and I'm perfectly certain it was a red letter day in the lives of these two Russian players.
A friend of mine went to the Wigmore Hall to hear him play about 15 or 20 years ago. The thing that impressed him most was the way he came on and more or less owned the hall, as it were, when he came there. An enormous presence. He said there he was with this enormous chest and this tiny instrument, and then these superb sounds that came from it, and absolutely had the public in the hollow of his hand.
Was he a great orchestral player?
Yes. Delius. I've done a lot of Delius with Sir Thomas Beecham myself, but to hear Delius at its best, you should hear the pre-war LPO recordings of the interplay between Léon and Sir Thomas. The two of them. That for my money is Delius as it really should be. Superb.
In sailing, you get that wonderful sense of being your own master. It always reminds me of that aria that somebody used to sing at the chapel ballad concerts years ago. I am the master of my soul. And I think it's so true about sailing. There's no telephone to annoy you. You can just sit there and just take everything that's coming. Perfect peace.